Afternoon. Another day here in the shop. Unfortunately, it's kind of slowing down a little bit and I'm waiting on parts to be delivered. So with that, I recognize that I need to organize this place. It's a giant mess and I've got way too much stuff packed in here. It's one of those things where you buy a place and you look at it and you go, man, this should be enough room to last me for quite a while. Well, now that I've been in it 9 months, less than a year for sure, I'm running out of room. I'm packing this place to the gills, and unfortunately some of the bigger stuff isn't selling very fast. Anyway, I did order some of these shelf brackets off of Amazon. I'm not sure if they're any good or not. They're supposed to hold 250 pounds per pair of brackets. So I guess we're going to put them to the test. My thought is, this section of wall right here, I'll put a row of these brackets and I'll put a shelf there. Obviously, as you guys can see, I'm kind of bursting at the seams with packing material right now. Unfortunately, this type of stuff is either feast or famine. You know, sometimes it comes in great, sometimes it doesn't, and I have nothing. So right now, I do have a lot, and I want to get it up on that wall there. And I really think that's going to help me to organize. Also, in the back room, as you can see, I've got stuff kind of littered everywhere. And every workspace that I have is currently covered in something. And it doesn't give me a good place to work. So my plan is, for back above this workbench here, I'm going to run a section of those brackets for 8 feet. And I'll bring it just above the power boxes here, electrical boxes. And then the same thing over on this section of benches here. I'll run another 8-foot section above these benches. Kind of a little lower here, where that one will be my main workbench, and I'll be working in that area, and I don't want to risk hitting my head or running parts into the shelf and knocking things off the shelves. I hope that these things are as tough as they say they're going to be, and they'll actually hold 250 pounds. Anyway, we're going to throw on some Christmas music, some holiday music, and get to putting these things together. So follow along. Alright, as you can see, I've got one of the shelves installed in place. I'm not sure if I like the height of it just yet or not. It is a little low. I guess I was thinking I wanted a lot more room above the shelf to store these giant bags of packing material, kind of stack them on here. I do need some screws that I can fasten this together with, so I do need to pick up some screws for that. I don't have those right now. And I may add one more bracket here and move the shelf actually this way. So that's something I'm contemplating at this point. That's a 5-foot shelf by 22 inches deep. The brackets are a 16 by 12. So it was recommended that you could do up to 22 inches. It looks nice. I'm happy to have it. So I just need a couple more pieces of hardware to be able to secure it properly. And I may invest in putting one more bracket on that side just to keep that thing as structurally sound as possible. Because if I do put the foam up there, that'll be fine. But if I end up putting boxes up there too, that's where the weight's going to come in. And I think I probably will put boxes on top of that as well. So there's one done. 2 more to go. Alright, after a little contemplation and thought about the placement of this shelf, I did decide to put a 4th bracket in place and then move the shelf to the right a little bit. And what I'm using is 1 5/8" interior wood screws. And I'm actually screwing them right to the studs. So that way I've got the most stability I could possibly get on these shelves. They're all level. They're all good. This one did get bent a little bit, it looks like, or maybe I'm out of level on that one. The wall could be not straight too. I know these walls weren't perfect, but that's one shelf in place. I do, again, need to get some hardware to be able to mount these shelves static to the brackets, so that way they can't go anywhere. But for now, I'm absolutely pleased with this one. So we'll move to the back room and we'll start working on those ones next. Alright, the next spot I'm going to work at is going to be above this bench here. So I'm going to run an 8-foot section across the top here. So I'll be finding my studs, figuring out my height, and then I'll go ahead and screw these brackets in place. I'll be back with you guys soon to show you what that shelf looks like. Stay tuned. Alright, our second shelf is up now. I do need to come in with my Sawzall or something, and then notch around the conduit there so the shelf will actually go clear up against the wall. I missed on the stud, unfortunately, on that side there. My stud finder's not working, and I thought there was extra studs in that corner, but there wasn't. But anyway, this one is up. It's almost all the way into where it needs to be. Obviously, it hits that spot right there, but once that's notched to fit around that conduit, the shelf will slide that way, that inch that it needs to be, and everything will push back into where it is supposed to sit. That gives me quite a bit of room there. I should be able to move all my cleaning supplies and my oil and the things that I'm not using all the time onto that shelf and then clean off some of these workbench spaces here. So I'm super pumped to have that one up there. Now I've got one left to do. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with that finished product. That one's going to go right there. So we'll show you that, what it looks like when I'm done. All right, new day in the shop. Unfortunately, I ran out of time the other day and didn't have a chance to actually secure the shelves to the shelf brackets, and I needed to go pick up hardware. So I did that this morning, and I've started kind of working on the project again to get this place organized a little bit. I did move all of my flathead 45 stuff onto this shelf system here, and I have all the spare parts that I have for the bike right now above, and everything is kind of just sitting in one spot. I wanted to have all of these items in one area so they were all together. As I get new parts in, I just have a dedicated space for those. So that's what I've designed this area for, is a spot to put all of those parts. I still need to work through that workbench and kind of figure out what I'm going to do with those things. There's a few things on there that I don't need. One day I got to finish that motor tear down. My ultrasonic cleaner should go underneath the bench here. I've got a tote there and a couple other things I don't necessarily need there. I'm not sure where to put those just yet. But I've started cleaning off this back portion here, and I'll go ahead and I'll secure that shelf to those brackets and then go through and finish cleaning up the rest of this back bench and get a lot of these items from underneath, sitting on the floor and whatnot, onto that actual shelf system to get me some workspace. That way I have an actual workbench that I can utilize every day. I do have a lot of miscellaneous tools and parts that I'm waiting for a toolbox. I've got some casters for another project. I've got oils and cleaners and findings and all kinds of stuff down there that I need to move. I do have a box of rags, and I've got these oil drying pads, and I want to get those things kind of put into these spaces so I can readily access them as needed. I've got some storage things that just need to go up and stay up and then be up there for the time being. Anyway, I'll check back in shortly and show you the project as it progresses. All right, finally got everything kind of moved around for the time being. Made some space on the workbenches, organized a few things, and got some things up onto the shelves. It's not perfect, but it's a start. And I've got a lot of things in the shop right now that I need to address and a lot of things I need to get done. I've got a few irons in the fire, more than I need right now, and I'm adding another one pretty quick here. But that gives me the opportunity to kind of have some workspaces. So I'll show you kind of what I've got going on. That way you can see the differences and the changes that I've made in the shop. From the workspace next to the garage door, I cleaned off both of the benches, kind of organized some of the stuff underneath the benches, and took all of the inventory that I currently have for the 1948 WL and moved it onto the shelf above. I have those things up there, so they're kind of out of the way just because I'm not working on the bike right now. After the first of the year, I should be getting the motor assembled, at least the bottom end. Once that's done, then I'll start working on the top end. I know the cylinders need to be honed, cleaned, valves reinstalled, rebuilt, all that good stuff, so that needs to be done. From there, onto the back shelf system, I've moved a lot of things out from underneath that I'm not commonly using, and I put those items up above. I've moved a lot of things off of the shelves, or the workbenches rather, as well, to have a little more workspace. And obviously you see there's a giant stoplight on the workbench. So this week I'll be putting that thing together. It's a project that I've had for a while and I just acquired lights for. So I've got that, I have a way to plug it in, and I've got a unit here to control the whole setup. And I'll make a video on that so you can kind of see what I'm doing there. From there into the packing and shipping area, as you can see, there's a lot of the boxes that are off of the floor and off of my work in progress and up onto the wall. It's not perfect yet. I do need to go through and pull everything out of here and kind of get these things put back by common sizes, address this top section here, and figure out what I'm going to do. I may build another section of shelves this way for boxes so I can stand them on end, because they are easier to get to if they're stood on end like this. I can see what size they are, and I try to keep them organized by size. When they're up on a shelf like that, it does make it difficult to, you know, find the right size. With a shorter stack like that, I can kind of see what I have, and I don't want to keep it like that. Unfortunately, I know what will happen is I'll add to it and it'll be clear to the ceiling, and then I won't be able to access it easily, and it will just drive me nuts. But these are the brackets that I have picked up. They are on Amazon. They're an 18-inch deep, a 12-inch high, and they're rated for 250 pounds per pair. I don't anticipate to exceed that weight. I mean, obviously right here, my goal is to keep, you know, bubbles and packing material and stuff like that on this shelf here, and then these two areas there. And then of course keep boxes in these areas here. Hopefully that'll continue to work. If not, I might have to reinvent that. I know I have this section next to my cabinet here that I could do something with. The ladders don't necessarily have to be in here. That one's really got to go outside and go into the shed. But I don't have any room in the shed at this time. I've got all my summer stuff kind of stored in there. Anyway, I wanted to give you guys a little rundown of the shelves that I'm putting into the shop to organize my space a little bit. It's a little workspace and I'm outgrowing it quickly, so I do need to move things around. I've got a lot of irons in the fire right now and a few other projects I want to attempt this week. I do want to hook up the wheel and tire machine. I also want to hook up my air compressor. I want to finish that light, and I've got parts that I need to purchase for those things to be able to put them in properly. So I'll be resourcing parts and researching what I need to buy that makes this make sense. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. I know it's a little different video than my normal working on bikes, tearing things apart, putting things together video. Just kind of showing some of the ins and the outs of what, you know, having your own personal workspace looks like. You know, some of the challenges that you could possibly run into and the resources and solutions that are out there to fix it. You know, of course, if you guys are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate the subscriptions. And as always, if you want to leave a comment or a suggestion or just give me feedback, I appreciate that as well. I've had a lot of good interactions on here and I'm grateful for it. Anyway, take care. We'll talk to you soon.